All right, so let's get back to it here. I can see things on the screen. I am putting the pup arm. So as you can see, I've already Loctited this in the back and machined this down. And let's zoom out real quick. And we're going to set the bumpers. So this is cocked back, and we're going to set. We're going to screw this in. I've got Loctite already in here, and I'm just going to start spinning this guy on. Whoops. So I'm using the blue 122 Loctite. Sometimes I'll use green on this, but we're going to go with blue right now. And I'm just getting this kind of screwed down. And this you'll want to let it sit overnight. And I'm just using a very light touch with my needle nose pliers here. I don't want to mar any of the surfaces up. I get this all adjusted down. Takes a little while. And I'm testing the fitment. This should almost screw all the way in. I'm going to put a little bit of a gap on this when it's done. That's almost all the way there. What's nice with this is I'm getting full. The one thing I don't like a lot about their threads on the front here, oops, there isn't a lot of room on that. I need to tighten this guy down. It seems like there isn't a lot of threads on here. Let's keep clamping that down. And I like to get as much thread engagement as I can. Okay, so that looks good. All right, the bumpers are hitting there. And now I want to do a final test. I want to feel, I'm going to need to adjust this back knob a little bit. The cocking rod needs to come out a little bit. Additionally, I want to, so what I'm doing here is I'm pulling back where the bumper is, the rear travel bumper is bumping up against it, and then I'm pulling back on the cocking rod and making sure that the ram is not pushing the lug into the back of the lug slot in the bottom of the frame. You want to make sure that that's set right. We're going to adjust this cocking rod out just a little bit. So I'm going to take that off. Remember I told you we were probably going to have to adjust this a second time because I'm setting up the ram technically the way it probably should be set up. So here comes the fun part. I need to get this guy, wrap him around that, and I'm going to try to grab it with this guy. Good grab on here. Sorry, I'm just trying to grab this guy with my rubber thing here, and I want to go out a little bit. There we go. There we go. That looks good. Let's go in. Let's go in here. That's bottomed out. Let's put my finger down in there. Yes, it's right about flush. So I know right there. I can back this out. I'm going to get my other Allen key down in that hole. Next size down because I want to put a little, I don't want this to come apart. So I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to make that nice and snug. So that's all locked down nice and tight. This is good. We're going to recheck the bumper and how much that is. right. That's perfect. That is perfect. I set mine up about flush. So the bumper goes back. It's got a good space here. The pump, this is lined up nice and square. Make sure it's nice and square. It looks like it's off just a little bit. And we're going to let this, make sure everything, trigger works, safety works, that works, hoses are on, and so this, oh, we need to have a screw on this guy. I need a longer hose. I have it right here. We're going to cut this a little bit longer. Right about there. And my thing just came apart. We're going to go back and taper this ends. That's done. And that's done. I like to put a little bit of lube on either end. It's just to help lube that O-ring. So that O-ring, you should be lubing it up. Okay, we're going to spin that out and try to get everything to go right in it. There we go. It's a nice fit. And so this, I want to feel one thing. I want to see if that Loctite's set on the bottom. No. I probably need to, it probably just has too much oil on that Loctite on the bottom. So I'll have to reset that up. But outside of that, let's go over the things that were done at Docfire Paintball, the customer's gun. First is, we'll go from the front to the back. Loctited the ram, re-loctited the pump arm, set so the ram bumpers actually function, so the back block isn't slamming, potentially damaging the threads in the back. Loctited the two set screws that hold their 5-way, 3-way, whatever you want to call it. They call it a 5-way. Traditionally, it's just called a 3-way. Loctited that. Checked and Loctited the set screw on the bottom here. We may need to adjust that. Check for Teflon tape on the gauge. Gauge is not blowing, so we're not going to change that. Redid the regulator, redid the reg seat on that, and re-lubed. New hose, tapered the ends of the hoses. Cleaned it up so that they're square cut, not cut with a really poor pair of diagonal colors. Nothing on the on-off, not having any issues with those right now. Some customers are having where they screw a tank in, that it gasses up, but that's can happen with a lot of on-offs, so these lever style or the easy on-offs will do the same. That's just a kind of inherent issue. Check the safety. Frame's been tightened down, the safety works. We go to the back. The cocking rod is set to the right length. Cleaned up. This is just, I don't like the threads where you can see them there, so we clean that up. The bolt, the two screws in the bolt that hold the front to the center and the back to the center, those are removed and Loctited. The ball detents, although these were Loctited into stainless steel parts, were Loctited in the body, and that was good. They had Loctited the caps to the stainless steel part, which is not good. So we fixed that. These stickers look like someone just got acetone on them or something. It's just really weird. That they're all foggy. Reset the stickers so they're square. So we're talking about cocking rod. The feed neck, we did the feed neck mod, Loctited the screw. We pull up on this when we're setting this. We want to make sure it's at the highest point. That's the strongest area where it's going to grip that lip that's on the body. I found that seems to be a good position. And we do the mod to the lever. For an extra charge, I'll replace this aluminum part with a brass part. That's a $10 extra charge. It makes it even smoother. So that's all set up. The internals, we resprung the front with the lightest fire spring that you can get. It's the white spring. modified the valve to, quite frankly, in my opinion, should be how they should come out of the factory, but I'm not the one that's footing the bill to make this stuff. Nova is, so they do what makes sense to them, and then I just tweak it. We changed the IVG, and this is something you can do on your own. It's we put a 113 O-ring. It fits loose on there, but we put that on there, and it has a nice friction fit. When you screw it in there, it kind of holds that IVG in place, so that makes it really nice. And we set the rate to 350 psi. We're going to re-Loctite this big adjuster, the governor, we'll call it. Well, I just need to Loctite that down there a little bit better. I think I need to clean the oil off of it, and that will do that. And yes, that's what has been done. That's what you get for your, I think it's $75 plus whatever shipping it takes to get to and from. And this one's got some weird, I don't know if that's just from laying here, the silicone. I don't know. Let me put a little oil on it. Let's see. It's kind of bothers me. These weird lines on it. I like putting a little bit of oil on things. It doesn't hurt it. Yeah, it was just the. See, look how nice that looks. The anodes, actually, this black one's really nice. Nice matte black. So yeah, that's the Docfire service. And if you want to do it yourself, watch the video, like and subscribe to these things. This has probably been broken up into multiple segments, so you can watch each segment. We'll have a beginning and a final segment. All right, it's the next day. We let all Loctite dry. Did a little bit of adjustment. IVG set about 2 turns in from flush. Raised the lug up just a little bit. Made sure I had a nice. I find that I get lower velocities if the sear is disengaging and then this is just right engaging. It's starting to hiss. I find I want a little bit more separation there, and I find that if I do that, my velocities will raise without changing anything else. So it's helping keep that bolt in place to get that volume of air through. Pressure, I'm about 250-ish, I guess. And the paint I'm shooting is this. Oh man, that's like a football. It stayed out in the garage. It got down in the 20s last night, or teens, and it's hard as a rock. It's super brittle, and this stuff just cracks, and it's about a year old, so there are some fluctuations in this. I'm using the 677 insert. I shot this paint yesterday, or day before yesterday, with a 679 insert, and it was better, but I left it out in the garage, and it's just really, it's really poor. So, my mistake. But let's see. 288, 300, 291, 301, 270, 101, 296, 297, 302. So it's really about that 300, about 250 PSI. So yeah, this one's ready to go back to the customer, and we'll go from there. No problem.